How's it going, lads and lasses? Today, I came back to ask the question no one wanted the answer to. Can you beat Cry of Fear by removing the foreskin of all enemies with only your knife? So let's start off with the only rule there is for this challenge. We can only use our knife to damage people, and any other form of damage, we instantly fail the challenge. So we start the game by picking the easiest difficulty so I don't get curb stomped into next week. We start our game with the average Swedish dickhead living in Stockholm. Now most people might know him from an underground YouTuber, you could say. He did like a 2-hour explanation on how the game is all in the head.
What a fucking
neighborly person.
But I recognize him as Johnny Ghost. After a long exposition on how Simon is depressed, we get to witness the best voice acting known to man. Oscar worthy, I'd even say.
What happened?
A driver then takes the liberties of running over my tight bussy.
In a shithole! Do you know what I mean? Birmingham is a fucking shithole! I hate the fucking place! I fucking hate it! It's full of dickheads!
After the car decimates our asshole, the homeless man gives us a quick tuggy. We respond in the most humane way as possible, bashing his brains in whilst giving him CTE. We wake up in a nightmare world where we have to take quick pictures of objects to escape and try our best not to make Logan Paul jokes.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
After our nightmare, we wake up in what I can only assume is a Swedish man's favorite pastime, falling asleep in a dirty alleyway filled with needles. We get a little spook from the underpass. We find a username and a password. I then try to figure out what order the password and username go into.
Shut the fuck up! Know your fucking place, trash!
I find a little perv spanking his shit outside the window. We put in numbers into a padlock. Then I get a cheeky little message telling me to look to the right.
If you wanna come to Mama, come test me! I'm chilling in the streets hanging out like my testes!
We get jump scared by what I assume is your average Portland man on bath salts. A couple stabs later, we put down the twink femboy. I then get my first heroin needle. Hopping down the ladder, we run into some more tweakers. After killing a few more enemies, I go to leave the sewers. I get a message from my wife's boyfriend telling me it was way past my bedtime and I had to get home quick. I make it into the apartments, but something's off. Clearly, my wife and her boyfriend had just had another argument. Some kid wanted to do a knife-only run too, and he tried to steal my foreskin. I make my way to another hallway and get jump scared yet again. And a little kid comes out of nowhere, but just like paying child support, I put it down. I get trapped in a spooky little room. A freaky little monster comes running at me to what I assume is an unborn fetus and a tumor. I make it through some more spooky hallways. I then find a Glock. I then keep the Glock on me because I don't want to get soft blocked and restart a challenge just to go all the way back to pick up a gun for one section. So don't worry, you sweet delectable freaks. I would let you know if I ever use it. We get ganked by the most annoying enemies in the game. We take the elevator up to the 4th floor. We find a man who I can only assume went through transitional surgery and had his first period. We get attacked by one of my favorite monster designs in a video game ever. I place a rope to what I assume is an attempt on hanging myself. I get ganked by 2 knife ladies who only want to shove that big, long, sharp object up my urethra. I get to bear witness to what I can only assume a live C-section looks like. We abort some more fetuses. We grab a tape. We watch as the Mexican cartel cuts off a man's head for owing 1 peso. We get a code off his stomach. We enter the code into the elevator and take a ride down. But little did I know it was a trap. The devil had grabbed me by my erection and dragged me straight to hell. So before we continue our epic adventure, if you guys made it this far, it would really help if you guys left a like and subscribed. I also do a whole bunch of different challenge runs, and if you're into those, this is the channel for you. Every subscriber closer we get to the point where I can start making money is where I hit my dream of buying 500 gallons of horse semen. So please leave a like and subscribe and join my Discord. Link is in the bio below. After a long staircase, we enter our first room and we meet our first boss. So we start the boss fight and instantly recognize that this is the worst challenge to ever do a melee playthrough on. This game has some of the worst hitboxes. I have tried again and again, and each time I get pile drived with a giant chainsaw up my asshole. Not only does my anal cavity resemble one that's been fisted, I also have to sit through a 15-second cutscene each time. Now you may be like, oh, 15 seconds isn't that much, but after you die to him so many times, it begins to take a mental toll on you. Here I try a couple methods. At first, I try and stab him and then walk backwards, making sure I have enough room to stay out of his range. But clearly that wasn't enough to keep my uncle from touching me. The next attempt, I try to hit, dodge, and that actually worked in doing a bit of damage to him, but clearly I was wrong. Now you see, the problem with Cry of Fear is to dodge, you have to double click backwards, and sometimes the game doesn't even read it. It's either you double click S too fast and the game thinks you're just walking, or you click it too slow and you just take a step back and then he pile drives you. I died to him 9 times. Now that may not seem like a lot, but it took 30 minutes. Death after death, and I was feeling it. I didn't even know if I could handle much more. I started wondering if the challenge was worth it, if I could even make it through the rest of the game. After what felt like forever, I had perfected it. I had finally beat him, and he decided to take the easy way out. Nonetheless, a victory's a victory. Simon decides now is a great time to take a nap, and we pass out. We then run into a doctor who dodges our question like how women dodge accountability. We fight our way through some crawly guys. We leave the tunnels and get ganked by the No Legs gang. I call the suicide hotline number.
You need to kill yourself now!
We get told the passcode for the door. We go through a building that becomes a maze, and it plays a sound effect of a chainsaw chasing after you. But really, it's just an MP3 file, so you can take your time to loot the area. After that, we head down to the sewers, and we meet some of the most freakiest enemies the game has to offer. This little bugger will try to stick his long juicy tongue down your throat and give you a nice little French kiss. I find my missing foreskin, and I finally got it. The true horrors wasn't what my mind would make up and the monsters I'd encounter on the way. It would be seeing my foreskin again. The true monster is losing my nerves. I kill Michael Myers, and I decided this challenge was too much. So I decided to light up a ciggy right next to a man who had just, yeah. The doctor cuts the man's head off, and I can only have sympathy for him because I would do the same if I had just watched the new 28 Years Later movie. Our boss Mace arises, and the only way to defeat him is by turning valves to electrocute him. Now, me personally, I don't count this as a fail, as I'm not hitting him with anything, and it's not my fault that someone conveniently placed 4 valves in an electricity filled water place. So really, it's the game's fault, but I will count it as a semi-fail. And of course, past me always has time to explain it. You can't fist the engines in the Pillar of Autumn, so I have to blow them up using rockets. Now, you may be wondering, what is a semi-fail? Well, it's basically enough to make me load my gun, but not enough for me to kill myself. We go forearm deep to fish out a key from Mace. We get transported to a nightmare world and have to run through a bunch of hands. We make our way outside and meet this lovely creature. A tentacle hentai enjoyer tries to kill me. We fight our way through some more monsters. We get to meet our first encounter with Saw Runner, and if this is your first playthrough, normally you try running away, but there's a hit delay he has, so when he goes to hit you, he actually stops for a second, so you can just walk your whole way through this section. We fight our way through some tight corridors. Now this next part scared the absolute shit out of me, and I just thought you guys had to see it. I had no idea this was in the game.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
After a while, we do the worst puzzle in the game. This took me forever, because for some reason, I can't figure out my west, north, east, and south, and even when I did, it didn't work, so I had to reload a previous save, and then come back and do it the correct way. We get a call telling us to go to the rooftop. We get to talk to a woman.
Start coming and they don't stop coming. Back to the rules and I hit the ground running.
Now, this would be our next boss, but I didn't want to fight a fetus today, so I decided to run. Now we have to make our way onto a subway, and we encountered these guys with guns, but as long as you rub your nuts up against them, they'll blow their heads off, because they don't want to be next to any chuddies. We make our way into a college. There are no enemies until you grab the fuse box, turning off the power, in which a whole bunch of enemies spawn, and for anyone's first playthrough, this can be anxiety inducing. We head back to the subway and put the fuse in the fuse box. We start the train to kill the weird growth thing. Now we get to my most favorite part of the game. You're in the air ducts and your phone battery had just ran out. Your only source of light now is a couple of flares. They only last like 20 seconds and there's only so many. Now we have to get 2 fuses. So we gotta do a whole bunch of backtracking, which is really boring, so I'm gonna skip over most of it and just tell you guys the important parts. We grab our first fuse that we left behind at the subway. We fight our way back to the apartments, which I totally didn't spend a half an hour of my life wasting it on trying to find my way back. I fight a couple waves of monsters in the dream world. We pick up the second fuse. We put in our 2 fuses, break down a wall. We get sent to another creepy dream sequence, and I just wanted to relate how much this game is to Silent Hill. I feel like not many people compare it to that, but it's always been in the back of my head, and I've been thinking if I should also do more horror game challenge runs, but that's if you guys want me to, just let me know in the comments below. We do an epic puzzle. We do the worst maze run ever. If the little chodes try and touch you, you die instantly and you have to restart from the beginning. So it comes down to a trial and error of not trying to get fucked over by them cornering you, or you just get trapped in a wall. So your best bets are just to run through without looking at any maps and pray to God that you don't get molested. After we escape, we get on the train.
Get me off the fucking train! Get me off the fucking train! I need to get off the fucking train!
We get attacked on the train, and for some reason we have to go find a foot at the very end of it. We give the toes a little sucking and make our way through all the enemies back to the front of the train. After we place the foot, we get to the worst part of the game. We have to parkour around using the janky mechanics that the devs gave Cry of Fear. So when you're trying to move around, you accidentally dodge and fall to your death, or you dodge and you fall back down and can't get back up because of how bad the jumping system is. So you go through this relapse of reloading saves. We finally escape and run into the forest. I get my head cut off by Saw Runner. I then get attacked by a lady using scissors, but you may be wondering, why am I using a branch to kill him? Well, you see, back in the train scene, we lose our bag. So we lose all our items and our knife, meaning this challenge is impossible to beat with only knife. So I decided right then and there that we have failed the challenge, but I wasn't gonna stop using melee. So I kept on going, and hopefully we could at least beat the game with only melee. We make it into the mental hospital, and to be honest you guys, this part broke me. I was playing this so late at night, and jump scare after jump scare, I was filled with anxiety and dread of playing the game. And that's what horror games should do, and I'm glad I did feel that way, but I stopped right here. I'd left the game for about 3 days because I was filled with dread of having to complete it. This, with the ambience, with the, it's even scaring me right now. I lost all words. I can't even read the script anymore. But the ambience and the screaming in the background with the enemies hidden in corners, it all compiled together in making the best horror experience I've ever had, and I left. So I picked the game back up after our 3 days. I grab the pistol and I don't give it to the doctor. We get the passcode and then we fight the doctor. The sad part about this is you can't fight him with only melee. So not only can you beat this game with only your knife, you can't beat it with melee. I had failed the challenge. Talos has cursed this challenge and forced me to fail, but I still wasn't gonna give up. After beating the doctor, I politely curb stomped him over and over until his face looked like a pancake. His face was a used tampon to me now. I came so far in this challenge and I had lost. There's no reason on going on anymore. No point. Then I saw it. It was turning day, and I realized I had still made it through most of the game with only my knife, and sure I had to complete the rest with a branch, but I did it. I fought hard, and though the challenge was a fail, it was still fun. But we still have a bit more to complete, so let's get on with it. We get on a boat and we take a nice, long-deserved break. We gotta reflect on all the good we have done, and the bad. We were able to think back and look at all our past challenges. Though we have failed a couple, there were still some that we had succeeded in, and that was enough for me to carry on. I make it into a house, and I have to fight my way out of their basement. I make my way through the sewers, escaping our final run-in with Saw Runner. Then we enter into our small little town. We get home and our mom isn't there. After entering our final crazed dream sequence, we have to fight ourselves. As we choke out the real Simon, we ourselves die, and the light fades to white. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I end up fixing my upload schedule instead of taking these 5 months break in between videos. But if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. Join my Discord. It really helps out the channel grow. Leave a comment too. It pushes out the video further. And yeah, cheers. Hope you guys have a good one.
Have fun scraping my brains off the wall. Fuck you!